Starting a business is pretty hard. Today, I want to talk about three specific kinds of problems that you can avoid, traps that you want to not fall into in starting a business. The first one is hiding your idea. A lot of people think they've come up with a great idea and they need to protect it and not tell it to other people until it's patented or whatever, or until it's perfectly ready to go. I think this is a big mistake because what you really need most when you're starting a business is to build anticipation of what you're doing, get feedback of what you're doing, and actually start promoting your idea. People think that they've got a great idea and it's the most valuable thing they have. In reality, ideas themselves aren't worth very much. It's the implementation, it's the actual doing it that makes it worth something. Most people are not trying to steal your idea. Far from it. You'll have a hard time convincing most people that it's even a good idea. So it's a great idea, I think, to get that out there as quickly as possible. Deal with the obstacles, the hurdles that you're going to have to jump over to communicate your idea to other people. Because until that idea gets into other people's heads, it's not going to be a business. Can't be a business just sitting in your head. So don't hide your idea. The second thing to consider when running a business is to make sure that there's enough money to do what you want to do. Running out of money is a huge reason why businesses fail. There are different strategies you can use to make that easier to deal with. Like one would be just doing it on the side rather than quitting your job to start a business. If you don't have all of your eggs in that basket, then there are other ways that you've got coming in for income that you're going to be able to sustain yourself. That gives you a longer runway to be able to get the business off the ground. If you do go into it full time and really go driving fully, you've got to have a pretty good war chest to go on. One thing for sure is it's going to take longer than you think it's going to take in order for a business to take off. One of the reasons is the number one that I just talked about of getting your idea out there. You think your idea is great enough that if as soon as you mention it to people, they're going to want to buy in and buy your product or your service. And you'll find that's probably not the case. It's going to be more of a challenge to get that out there. It's going to take some time to get people interested in the idea. It's going to take time to find the customers that are going to be champions of your idea that can help push that for you. The third thing that is a common mistake that you're going to have to overcome in starting a business is dealing with the rejection, just running out of steam. There are going to be a lot of people that say no to the product or service. There are going to be a lot of people, your family especially, that are going to say that it's a dumb idea, you're wasting your time, you're wasting your money. Not everyone in this world is an entrepreneur. The vast majority of people are not. Most people can't see the same idea that you can see and see a future for it. Most people have a pretty small vision. Your job in selling the idea to people is not to convince them that the business is a good idea. You only need to convince people that your product is a good idea. Scratch an itch that they have, and that's as much as they need to like. You will get a lot of discouraging comments from people. Everyone will have a story about that friend that they knew that started a business that failed in a million different ways. And those are very negative stories and feedback that will really put a damper on what you're trying to do. You don't want to be overly optimistic about things, so you can take some of that with a bit of realistic feedback. But most people are not trying to give feedback. Most people are just negative on the whole idea of entrepreneurship. And it's amazing to see because those of us that have that entrepreneurial vision see nothing but that as we look at something. But we have to make sure that that's not rose-colored glasses as well. So there's a little bit of a balance there. So those are three interesting mistakes that can be made that can be avoided by just kind of putting your mind right and approaching starting your business in a way that that makes sense to avoid those things. Don't hide your idea. be ready to promote it as the idea. Count the cost of what it's actually going to take, and then add in a little bit extra because it's probably going to take more than you think it is. And don't get too put down by the negatives and the rejection. Don't run out of steam with your own idea. You're the main champion for your own idea. Go make it something great.